So far here, there are 4 members. We have Senator Miraj, who's absent, about to go for maternity leave. We have Senator
that committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Session Chair, for the opportunity. I'm Senator Beatrice Ogola, member of the committee.
Good
money, everyone can see it. KBC has put in a lot in that. Has shares, and even the MD of KBC is the
guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country. I've been given the mandate to chair this session, which is more of introductions and the overview of what the ICT committee in the Senate does. So I think that's the side of the stakeholders. I know we have Senator Osoti. We're looking for you.
Sorry, I was.
Yes, ICT and data economy.
Good morning, I'm Edwin Dowalo, the CS ICT. We did commit ourselves that we are going to roll out a minimum of 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable. We also did indicate that we will establish and operationalize to the tune of 25,000 free Wi-Fi hotspots and also 1,450 digital hubs within the villages at the ward level. For doing this, ladies and gentlemen, was twofold. That one, as we speak, we have got a gap in terms of ICT infrastructure in the country. And through that digital superhighway, we should then be able to facilitate access to reliable and stable internet in those parts of the country which hitherto had not been ICT enabled. One of the challenges we are facing within the technological space in this country is high cost of data. The government found it imperative that, as opposed to just reducing the cost of data, which anyway we are already engaging the telecommunication companies on, we go the full hog and explore and in fact pursue the possibility of rolling out free Wi-Fi hotspots in integral components of the Kenyan society, so that those who are at the bottom of the economic pyramid are able to access internet for free, for purposes of commerce, for purposes of undertaking their daily business and economic ventures. By the time we took over this platform, Mr. Chairman, we had about 350 services, government services onboarded on that platform. Today, we are at 600 services, 680 services already onboarded. So we have got the capacity, based on what we have witnessed over the past 2 to 3 weeks, to onboard an average of 300 services per week, additional services per week, which means in a month we should be able to attain a threshold of 1,200. And within the next 5 months, we would be home and dry as far as our projected target level of 5,000 government services aboard that virtual platform is concerned. Digital identity that we are talking about is not the same thing as Huduma number. And in this regard, we don't want to carry forward the baggage of the Huduma number. A digital identity should be looked at from the conceptual perspective that we no longer need members of the public to visit government offices to flash an identity card as a means of identification. Because the purpose or rationale or the bottom line is identification. So we need a virtual means of identifying members of the public so that government can know whom it is conducting business with. This is why we want to introduce the digital identity. It is not the same thing as Huduma number. Huduma number was a form of digital identity, and that name Huduma was given to it at that point in time. We have had meetings with stakeholders on the rolling out of the 25,000 Wi-Fis and of course the 1,450 digital village hubs. And we have fairly clear roadmap in terms of mapping as to where they would be and the timelines within which they will be rolled out. KBC, there are issues to do with the, I think you raised issues to do with the assets that KBC has. The organization has gotten into some arrangements already with the Ministry of Lands, so that we have partnership between KBC, Ministry of Housing, KBC and the private sector to see how we can have optimal use of the land portfolio that KBC has in its possession. We will look at that and see how best to put those assets into good use. And still on this issue of Posta and KBC, we have already agreed as a ministry that we are going to have a working session with management of this organization so that we can be in sync in terms of thinking on the way forward. And we are free to bring on board all players, all stakeholders available at our disposal, including but not limited to the members of the Senate committee, so that we think together, so that we are able to turn this to turn these organizations around. Nobody has got
this thing called certificate of good conduct. That it's a big challenge to this country, whereby if you go to the eCitizen portal now and apply, you'll be given a date, maybe 3 months, 4 months, date to go to the DCI and take your fingerprints. So it is a challenge to many of the youths. I can attest that last year I got 3 requests from the same person. So in the whole year, a youth came to me thrice looking for the same good conduct because he wanted to apply for 3 different jobs. And it has been a problem because I am sure the fingerprints, even this year, his fingerprints still the same. So if we can, under your docket, if we can find a way to change that aspect, it will really, really help many Kenyans out here, because it has been a problem to so many youths that anytime they want to apply for a job, they have to go to the DCI and take their fingerprints once again so that they can apply for the various jobs. We've also had the same complaints about cons, and we can also assure you that as a committee, we will be the first ambassadors, of course, to make sure that we change that notion. And we are also eager to also visit the facility, and also even members of the committee are also eager to not only to visit but also being the beneficiaries of this facility as well.
Existing Kenya National ICT policy, we are also looking at development of business process outsourcing and IT-enabled services. And Chairman, I think this is an area we will be looking at. As you are aware, the sector ICT should contribute about 10% as per the Vision 2030, but currently we are about 2%. This area of PPO and IT-enabled service is the area we will be really looking at how to unlock as a country, what are the bottlenecks, how come other countries like. Next slide, we can look at the key challenges facing the ministry, which one of them is we find there is still a gap in the policy and legal and institutional framework, and this is an area we will need to look at, Chairman, and we're seeking your support on how to address this. Inadequate funding, and CS has proposed, and he has taken through the cabinet, and we've got approval to establish the digitalization fund, and this is an issue which will come to this committee, and I think getting this done will be one of the memorable results of this committee, to ensure that the digitization agenda of our country going forward will not have the challenge of inadequate funding.